You've got to love when the Spirit said love. When the Spirit said love, you've got to love, oh Lord. You've got to love when the Spirit said love.
There was an election, but a powerful leader rejected the results. He threatened his enemies, he jailed his political opponents, and now, as senior general of the nation's military, he is waging a war against the people of his nation. I'm speaking of Burma, also known as Myanmar. In February 2021, you may remember January 2021. In February 2021, I was on a call with the UUSC board and some of our partners from Burma, including Debbie Stoddard, who's the head of ASEAN Burma out of Thailand. And our board was getting an update from the work of our partners there, primarily doing the work of supporting the Rohingya Muslim minority population there who had experienced a genocide. We were learning about what was happening, the good work they were doing. You may remember that in Burma, there is a significant Buddhist nationalist movement. Well, so Debbie, in the middle of reporting out from the partners, actually stopped for a moment and said, by the way, we're not sure if these rumors are true, but it looks like our military may be about to stage a coup. And then she said, they're taking a page from Trump's playbook. And within 48 hours, Aung San Suu Kyi was in prison again. Last month, I traveled with several UUSC staff and a member of our board to Chiang Mai, Thailand, to host a convening of UUSC partners from Burma. Now our work has extended beyond the Rohingya minority to many other communities impacted by the brutal coup that started that February. Over 2.5 days, we learned about their current struggle for freedom in the midst of the military's ongoing attacks against their own people. 15 UUSC partners organizations shared their vision for a multi-ethnic democracy. They still believe. Their stories were so brave, so creative, so powerful. Now, Cherry, she's the one on the far left, from the Katherine Peace Support Network, shared one of the most creative stories we heard during our time there. They had actually received funding, probably from USAID, I'm gonna guess, to provide vaccines during the pandemic for people who were in the camps. But they could not find a way to make it happen because of laws about the border. People were just over the border. And so after some conversations and creative thinking, they set up a tent right on the border. And Cherry said they just had people line up, nurses on one side, people needing vaccines on the other side, and one by one, they would reach their arm over the border to receive their vaccines. One of the highlights of our trip included attending the 25th anniversary of the Women's League of Burma. This photograph is actually from that amazing event. Perhaps you know that there are 33 distinct ethnic groups in Burma. And in the last 25 years of Burma's history, there has been violence, hatred, violence, and even genocide waged against many of these ethnic minority groups. These women, there were 300 women in the room that night, representing that ethnic and religious diversity, are still holding a vision of inclusive democracy. And through all of these 25 years of all of this hatred and violence and ethnic cleansing, the women have been coming together and continuing to work together to build a new world. I feel so grateful for the gift of witnessing their vision and their courage and their love and their power. It was poignant. Our trip was in November, late November, early December. It was poignant for us throughout our time together that our partners sought to support us, knowing that we were reeling in some ways by the potential impacts of our own election and the potential harm to human rights that might be coming. They reminded us, our partners who we help, they reminded us about the power of resistance. And they told us, we're in this together. UUSC's Burma partners are not the only ones reaching out in support and solidarity right now. Just the week after the election, in fact, our staff at UUSC received a message from Juan Jose, who is the director of UUSC partner Pope No in Guatemala. Pope No provides support to children who are deported back to Guatemala from the United States, often unaccompanied. They provide support to these children, help them find family or guardians who can take care of them, or find someone if there isn't family still in the country. Juan has spent decades working in dangerous conditions to provide opportunity and self-determination for communities living under the weight of government oppression, and self-determination for communities experiencing violence. The day after our election, he wrote to let us know he was thinking of us and mourning with us over the expected impact on human rights and sending us strength. Remember, he said, remember, the resistance of generations makes us stronger. We are not the first people to resist. I'm glad for this opportunity to introduce Juan Jose and Cherry to you this morning. When I read Dr. King's words about love and power, I see their faces and the faces of so many UUSC has the privilege of partnering with in times like these. I was grateful this week to hear Marlon's really important guidance for spiritual health in hard times from his sermon last week. Go back and listen if you missed it. I really needed that. And this week, I simply add, and we need each other to be brave. We are stronger together. And in faithful community, we can bring power to the demands of love and love to the power of action. At UUSC, right now, our next human rights crisis response is developing right here in the United States. Even if you might hear my voice shake a little more than usual, I can tell you we know what to do. I'm not saying that we know everything, that we can predict anything, or that we know the only right way. I'm just saying we know what matters. We've learned this again and again from our partners. We know how to resist tyranny and repression wherever it emerges, in partnership, with movements for change, and always centering the people who are most impacted. As you know, no doubt, right now, some of the people most impacted in the United States, and this has been true for several years, are people who are trans. Before the election, our staff at UUSC spoke with our partners at Pink Haven, and we asked them, this was in late summer, we said, if it happens that the election is carried by individuals and groups that are denying your humanity, that are legislating against your existence, what will you need to survive and to do the work that you do? Perhaps some of you have heard of Pink Haven. Anyone? I'm so glad to tell you a little bit about Pink Haven this morning. Pink Haven is a network of activists and organizations working to help trans and gender-expansive people who are fleeing unsafe states in the United States. UUSC has been supporting Pink Haven since its founding 3 years ago. And what happens is we connect people in states where there are laws against their existence move to places where they can find community and safety. And we connect them with Unitarian Universalists, with UU congregations, other progressive congregations who welcome these travelers and help them create a new home for themselves and find new hope. Well, it makes sense. From its very beginnings, UUSC has worked in support of people who are forced to flee. Asylum seekers and internally displaced people in Hungary and Mexico and Ukraine, the Pacific and Bangladesh and many other places. We didn't know we would be working with displaced people here in the United States. Pink Haven asked us for a grant. We provided them with $80,000 within a week of the election to support travel subsidies, security, and staffing for Pink Haven, which is exactly what they told us we needed. Because of financial support from UUs and other progressive people, we were able to say yes. We know there will be many emerging needs for trans people and others in the coming months and years, and we will be working with our partners, old and new, here in the US, including UU congregations, to determine how UUSC can best support organizations protecting people, defending rights, and advocating for just laws and systems. Just this last week, we started work collaborating with a group that is filing a legal case against the administration concerning their illegal and immoral freeze on funds for foreign assistance. And all of this is happening even as we are remaining deeply committed to the partners we have, 75 partners in 25 countries around the world. Our commitments to these partners and movements is as important as ever. When we were in Thailand in early December, we drove by one of the largest refugee camps just across the border from the Karen state in Myanmar. That refugee camp receives 80% of its funding from USAID. I know that what we do at UUSC sounds like a lot. We have a bold mission, and I'm here to say that nothing less than a bold mission would be enough. Our strategy, though, is to focus on small, locally led organizations led by people who are impacted by oppression and who create innovative, local, effective ways to not only meet human need, but also to create systemic change. Our strategy arises from our commitment to the inherent dignity of all people. But at UUSC, we affirm not only the dignity of all people, we also affirm, and it's right there in our mission statement, the power of all people. Do you feel powerful? Yeah, me too. This is one of the great gifts I have discovered at UUSC. Our partners show us again and again that, as Dr. King reminds us, power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. This matter of love and power is aligned with what we say as Unitarian Universalists, what you say about yourselves, that you love beyond belief, that you have a vision of a better world that you work every day to create. Do you know you say that? I love that. I love that. It's easy, though, to forget this, to fall into what one minister calls the cardinal sin of Unitarian Universalists and other progressive people: sophisticated resignation. This world is a complicated place. I'm just one person. What difference could I possibly make? Well, friends, we have no time for that nonsense. All our talk about love is critical, but unless we remember our power, it's gonna be anemic. It's gonna be sentimental. Do you feel powerful? If you think power is only for the brightest, the luckiest, the most privileged, let me introduce you to just a few more people, just briefly, UUSC partners who would find that a very strange idea. Suleiman Wellings Longmore is a partner with Haitian Bridge Alliance. Suleiman is a legal fellow supporting a several-year research project documenting the unequal impacts of the US immigration system. I know, we all know that there are unequal impacts, but documentation is vitally important. This research will be important in the ongoing and increasingly urgent legal battle for the rights of asylum seekers in the United States. Katja Bonte is a UUSC partner coordinator for GAR, which provides critical aid to repatriated Haitian migrants and fights for their human rights to be respected across borders. We are so glad to already have this strong relationship as their work has become more critical. Ana Maria Tesfaye is co-founder of Queers Vit, a UUSC partner offering resources and companionship to the queer community in Ukraine that has been impacted by Russia's full-scale invasion. I had the privilege of meeting Ana Maria in London when I visited there a year and a half ago. At that time, we were their only funders. Love and power, right? Can we stop spreading disinformation about our helplessness? The people in charge at any time would love for us to believe there's nothing to be done. I love what Rebecca Solnit says. The fact that we cannot save everything doesn't mean we cannot save anything, and everything we save is worth saving. Around the world, with your support, UUSC works with partners to challenge the systems that deny the dignity and worth and power of people. Systems that try to trick us into believing there is little we can do. In rejecting the notion that there is no other way and little we can do, feminist activists in Poland, indigenous climate activists in the Pacific, grassroots groups in Burma, feminist farmers in Nicaragua, land and water defenders in Honduras, democracy activists in Haiti, Unitarian Universalists in Tulsa, and many others are faithfully imagining what will make it possible for all people to thrive, for all people to flourish. Do you feel powerful? Yes. When you are tempted by despair, when you cannot imagine another fairer, more just world, I hope you will remember Cherry and Juan Jose and Suleiman and Katja and Ana Maria, because they are with us, just as we are with them. Whatever happens in the coming days and months and years, we will gather together as we have this morning. We will take deep breaths together. We will light our candles together. We will pray together. We will sing together. We will recommit ourselves to the values we share and imagine new ways of being faithful to those values. Power without love is reckless and abusive. If we ever misunderstood that, we do not today. And love without power is anemic and sentimental. But friends, love that knows purpose and power that is animated by love, right there is a whole new world. Let's go.